Welcome back to Unrate Podcast. Here you have Elijah alongside Grant. Back for another episode. Once again, we're still in the middle of the NBA playoffs. NBA Finals, I should say. We are still around the corner from the NBA draft. Real exciting time here if you're a Pistons fan or if you're an NBA fan in general. So, kind of sad to see kind of a bow tie on the NBA season here. It's kind of coming to an end, but just wanted to see series tied up. Warriors, Celtics 2-2 heading back to San Francisco tonight. So kind of, what are your overall thoughts on the final so far? And where do you see it headed?
It's been good. It's been good game so far. I do expect kind of like the margin of victory to shorten. I'd say in these last 2 or 3 games, because this is where it's just turned into like a best 2 out of 3 series, and this is literally for all the marbles. So last game was kind of crazy. Like I feel like you would just see like Golden State make a run, and then Boston would just kind of like take it on the chin and come right back at them. And then they ended up, kind of carrying like a 4 or 5 point lead, for a good majority of the game. And I never ever seen a team go that ice cold for that long. And they scored 3 points in the final 6 minutes of the fourth, and even like lost by like what 9 or 10 or something like that.
Not all right.
So that was just like that's just one of them examples. I think I said quite a few times that Boston they just can't get out of their own way. Marcus Smart, playing hero ball, jacking threes. I think they shot like no lie, like 8, 9 threes, like the last like 6, 7 minutes of the third, which is just nuts. Like nobody was even trying to go to the rim. But yeah, I think this is what we both anticipated it was going to be. Them going, tied up, winning, either team winning in 6 or 7 games. So I'm excited to see how this one unfolds tonight.
Yeah, no. So just back to them going ice cold. I would say that's kind of the other side of the coin there. I mean, have you ever seen a team more hot than they were in the fourth quarter of game one? They drained like 9 or 10 threes. And then so I think that's kind of the other side of the coin there where, like you've mentioned a couple of times, they always seem to be getting in their own way, whether they're blowing games they shouldn't or not taking advantage when somebody like Jimmy Butler goes down or, whatever the case may be. But I also think that it's a little bit to just kind of them being young. A lot. We've said it before, but they are very young. Coach has not been in a similar predicament as well, so just able to get the reins on everything. And with that being said, I mean it's tied up, so it's not a whole lot you can say bad about. But
right, yeah, and they're not
but
like
it's
a
one of those
horrible
things where
spot.
they did go more cold than I've seen the team go in quite a while. And then on the opposite of that, they've been on game one, they were more hot than I had seen a team in the fourth quarter. So, like you said, maybe like it's going to shorten the things are going to revert back to the mean here, and both teams to kind of be more like who they typically are, and we're going to get some good close games again here.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, even though they haven't been blowouts, they've been very competitive throughout spurts. Even if like that, the game is fun to watch throughout the game, even if it at the end it seems to be like a 10 or 12 point victory, whatever the case may be. It always seems like both teams have a shot at winning deep into the game. So that's kind of at no point I thought that the Celtics couldn't get it done last game, or vice versa. I always think teams are both kind of right at the doorstep there, and it's just a matter of who can execute the cleanest. But
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a good way to look at it. And yeah, like you said, you hit it on the head there too, just with saying how hot they were in that game one, that fourth quarter, and then they go the exact, it's the exact opposite, 3 games later. And yeah, I mean, you just kind of look at it in the grand scheme of things. Like, it was surprising not seeing their coach, like, really call. I mean, I know they're probably getting low on timeouts, but he just kind of was letting them go. And that's where that experience kind of starts to roll into where it's like,
and didn't they challenge something?
oh
And
yeah, and they ended up losing one timeout too.
yep.
Yeah, so like it was just some stuff that it's like I think they even said on the broadcast they're like, yeah, probably wouldn't challenge that, or just saying just because I mean, it ended up losing it. So, but yeah, this is you got a lot of things going here in this next game. I mean, I think we've said that Boston. I mean, they haven't lost back to back since like January or something like that, back to back games. You just saw this, the new age San Antonio Spurs and the Warriors, weathered the storm. I mean, have looked horrible, looked tired, exhausted, but have still just found ways. Steph just put a team on his back last game, just found ways to just push along, and it look just been looking ugly too. But I mean, they just making it happen. I mean, when I saw they had Otto Porter Jr. start the game on Friday, I'm like, I was like, I don't know about this, but it was executing and just hitting shots. Like Steph was just hitting shots, and he just went ballistic and was able to carry him through.
No, I agree. So I agree with they're making the hard decisions. I mean, we've had a lot of talk, I guess, outside the podcast regarding like Draymond Green and his impact on this current series. And I mean, we could take away. Obviously, we know what his impact has been throughout their run
Yeah.
over the 10 years or so. But his impact on this series or this playoff run alone, and Kerr's making some hard decisions. They're putting him on the bench. For minutes, fourth quarter minutes that he normally would have. They're making hard decisions, sacrifices to go ahead and get this championship. And I think that is what a coach has to do. I still think Draymond is very valuable and has his place on that team, but also you have to go with what's working. And if the team is better for him for whatever reason on that particular stretch of time with him on the bench, I think you have to keep those hard decisions. I also think I brought it up before, but you have to keep Curry in when he's hot. I would say fuck the rotations. If Curry has 20 in the first quarter again, I'm leaving him in. You'll get that break in between first quarter and second quarter. I'm not taking you out. I'm not taking you out to 5 minutes in the second quarter, and then you don't heat back up again until the third quarter when we take you right back out. It's kind of I think a couple of times here, I think they've stipend themselves by doing that. Not that Poole doesn't come in and heat them up from time to time, but there's no way Curry has 21 in the first game and he sits out for like 7 minutes straight. There's no way Curry has 15 in the third quarter of the last game and then we sit him for another 4 or 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not doing that personally. So
yeah, I'm sure. As like I said, it's down to literally 3 games or best 2 out of 3. You're probably gonna see a lot of them guys minutes creeping into the 40s, 42s, just because it's. I mean, you can't really afford to be sitting down stars, and that's one thing even too. Like sometimes you're looking at Boston's lineup or their rotation, it just feels like I know a lot of people just kind of stay true to what their lineups look like and shrink them for the playoffs, but I feel like Tatum, sometimes he goes out, and you also got guys too getting in foul trouble, and that could literally dictate. That could cut their minutes all the way in half. So stuff just happens up the game, obviously, but.
And I think I don't like I've admitted that I haven't watched a ton of Celtics games like I say throughout the regular season. But Derek White, I think he was so hot in the game one, fourth quarter in particular, that maybe they're trying to capture that again when they maybe should have his ass on the bench a little more. And I understand he does play good defense from time to time, but when Curry's averaging damn near 40, it's hard to say that also. Mm-hmm. So it's I'm beginning to wonder some things about that as well. And in Tatum in particular, we've talked about maybe the key for him to be more of a playmaker in order to win this series. But there was a couple of times in that fourth quarter where I thought he maybe should have just went ahead and went up with it. One of those, who would you rather lose with Kobe shooting or Derek Fisher? You rather lose with so it's one of them type of similar predicaments where I would rather go down with you swinging than not.
Right. So, yeah.
That's kind of my.
Yeah. So
I guess they're young. I mean, I think a problem to be, and they could easily get this done. But I'm still thinking Warriors in 6, 7 because they probably went that Game 7 Father's Day, Juneteenth.
Yeah,
I still think ultimately the Warriors will get it done. Just a little too much experience. Curry seems to have that look in his eye. Like he really wants it bad.
Yeah,
I mean, for as Dre's played, I mean, he's overdue some sort of 8 points or something. He's over Dre. I mean, as far as bad as he's played, he's self-checked. I think they got in his head. Now he's back home.
Yeah,
he can't play worse than he's played. He's only up. So,
Magic Johnson said he's waiting for a triple double to come tonight. He said he want that from Draymond tonight. Yeah, you got a lot of different things going here. I mean, you've seen Boston play horrible and just turn around. I mean, you've seen both these teams play horrible and just turn around and just like just kind of snap out of it. Like they just have, pretty big mental lapses just throughout this entire playoffs to where I mean, sometimes it's just like kind of throw home court out of the window. It's just better team that execute the best and just, to the final buzzer going to be the one that come out on top. Um, yeah, I mean, I can't see Golden State losing tonight. I'll be shocked if they dropped it. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked just because it was what this series looked like, what the playoffs looked like this year. But
Yeah, and
to me, it's
in
feeling more
term,
like
it
Boston will tie it up at home, and then I'm feeling a game seven too.
I kind of I think the NBA wants that to happen. We've talked about it a lot, but I think especially when we consider the date that they particularly put it on,
Yeah,
I don't think that's by mistake. So,
yeah,
but no, I think in general, it's been I don't know, it's been interesting. Just kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Just kind of exciting to see. And for me, I know I am like a Golden State Warriors fan for lack of a better term. I guess default on this one, but it is kind of exciting just to see Curry go ballistic. I think
yeah,
it's when he plays well, it's very exciting. I mean, he was probably robbed of two back-to-back 4-point plays last game.
yeah.
So damn sure one of them at least. So I mean,
I
just
mean, I
consider everything he's doing. He really is looking like he
yeah.
won the championship. So it's
And
fun, great.
that was always kind of knock on him was just like not a knock on him, but he had a little bit more of a supporting cast. And I feel like there was just times KD showed up, so they all just kind of took turns just going at people, and he never got his Finals MVP or whatever it looks like. But yeah, I mean that other night he looked like how he did when he had that run last year when they was about to they lost to the Lakers in that play-in tournament, and how I mean, he literally, got him to like, I think they were the 7th seed or the 8th seed and, got him into the little tournament thing, obviously. But because I mean, obviously he'll come out and give you 45, 50 on a random Wednesday night against Sacramento. But after he hit that record throughout, earlier in the year, he kind of was cool. He kind of cooled off for quite a bit and
Yeah.
got hurt there, I think, a little bit too. But that explosion for points. I mean, this in his span of like these 3, 4 games he's been doing. Been a while seeing him put that many games together consistently.
Yeah, no, yeah, consistently and just some of these freakish shots. It really is impressive. Like I think we kind of we're getting so used to it, we kind of take it for
Yeah,
granted. But so an amazing run he's on, and just kind of uh, I don't know how many more of those he has in him, to be honest. You
yeah,
brought up the other day, he's like 34, 33, which both of us would have probably not guessed.
mhm,
But it kind of makes sense. 4-year player at Davidson.
yeah,
Braun was in the league 5 years when he went out to watch him play dance. Because all things considered, it kind of makes sense. But
right,
I don't
right.
know. Are you still rolling Boston Game 7, or are you where you're kind of obviously halfway through the
Yeah, I mean, I
what do
think,
you?
I mean, I don't know. I do feel like that game 4 losses felt very detrimental. Just like as far as, I mean, this is just not the series to be dropping games like that. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like they were for the most part were in control of that entire game, and then just went ice cold in the fourth. That was not the not the time to do that. But no, I mean, I think just off that, I mean, I feel like they might be able to squeeze one more out back in Boston, but I mean, I think it's definitely gonna go seven. I could see the Warriors just squeaking, just coming right out on top. But um, yeah, 3 game series, so it's gonna be pretty close. One thing I wanted to ask you was just about Klay Thompson. Like, and we talked quite a bit about just where he's at with things. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm not trying to be like negative, but I mean, it's sometimes like the writing on the wall. I mean, he is. I think he's like 32, 33. His team as a whole, they're just getting. They're starting to kind of get up there in age, and
Mhm.
he just looks tired. I mean, I know he kind of rattled off that 25-point game, game 3,
Yeah.
um, but I think he just looks exhausted. Sometimes, I mean, just seeing him, 1 of 8 for three, 2 of 14, like 3 of 9, just shooting these kind of like these crazy numbers, like going ice cold to start the game off, but kind of having a little explosion in the third. Um, but to get himself to like 12, 15 points, but it just hasn't been consistent, really, if any at
He's
all.
becoming more of a volume shooter, which has never
Yeah,
been his thing, and kind of can't be your thing on this team. Like
yeah,
when there's all the people who are currently still snipe shooters.
Yeah.
Who was hitting good? Curry, you know what I mean? Like, and then you're coming out 0-4, you know. So it's kind of it is rough in general. Kind of hard to see. I'm not saying necessarily put the fork in him. He's done because, like you said, this has been the most basketball he's played in 3.5 years.
Yeah.
So maybe you get through this summer back off, then you come in, then you have another whole season of kind of working your way into it versus, I mean, he probably didn't even play consistently until what, January, February?
Hmm.
And then so 6 months from that, 6 months from not being on the court, you're in the finals expecting
Yeah.
to do something. So I wouldn't be shocked if he came back very consistent as things went forward in the future. We
Right.
also talked about that he needed one game, and he got him that one game, but
Hmm.
they would have lost. So
Yeah.
I do know at any point he can turn it on. I wouldn't be shocked if you came out tonight and said he had 30. It's Clay, so it's possible.
Yeah.
But I do think it's kind of sad to see the writing on the wall and Jordan Poole kind of inching into that role. Maybe even I was definitely a more exciting version of that.
Hmm.
And kind of plays with Curry a little more because Clay isn't a ball handler.
Yeah.
So it kind of that works with Curry. Curry could be the off guard with that versus
Mhm.
having to initiate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know if he's going to be shooting as well as Clay did, and he can run point and let Curry do his thing around the screens. He might be on the outs as looking forward there. So.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is, I mean, I don't know.
And
This is
real
hot.
side note, real quick, I've seen people on Twitter calling him Pray Thompson every time she shoots.
Craig Thompson. Man.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's how bad it's getting.
I wonder if they ever turned on them things. Well, the thing is like right now you got, and this is just literally just shooting the shit, just throwing this out there. Like I'm not even gonna agree with what I'm about to say, but just hypothetically speaking, um, I mean, at some point, it's just funny because you got Jordan Poole. He comes off. He's a weapon on offense, but can't guard nobody. And you also got Clay. And like I said, I'm just talking. But like you got Clay to where he's came off multiple injuries, looking a little tired right now, or just look a little rusty still.
Yep.
I mean, do they look at like having him just kind of be a 6-man shooter, or is it going what does that even look like? Is that even a thing to even entertain? Like I don't know. I don't think that like I mean they're just also interchangeable. You know what I'm saying? And we could really let him get the green light that way. But then again, you got Jordan Porter don't guard nobody. So
Yeah, very true. I think that might be a solution to try to keep them on the squad, but I don't know how. I'm imagining he's making good money,
yeah,
and so at what point do you pay a over the hill shooter 35-40 million dollars
yeah,
to compliment, so but maybe if they run out of like, hey, it's not working, we can't do nothing with you really as far as moving you, but we got a role we think might maximize what we can do. I definitely think something like that will happen.
yeah,
um, I don't know, he seems very team oriented. They all do. They all say the right things, like you said,
yeah,
this modern day Spurs. They say the right things, they show up and um, sacrifice, and Dre gets sit down, he didn't shit on the coach, and
yeah,
whatever. They're all saying and doing the right things to sacrifice. But he obviously wants to play, and if he could probably stomach it if they get a ring this year, and
hmm,
then but if they're no ring this year and he comes back next year and he's kind of losing this ground to
yeah.
Pool, he ain't gonna want to be there anyway.
Right. And yeah, and I think, like I said, he could definitely come out next year and average 22 to 24 and be the same player he was like 3 years ago. But just from what it looks like, I mean, you know, it's looking like he's definitely on the decline to a certain extent. But yeah, it'd be interesting because it'd be kind of cool to watch, Poole and Curry. I mean, they kind of play alike. Just watching them run around and just try to maximize playing them a little bit more together and see what that looks like for them. Like you said, he already plays with Curry. You see Curry and Poole playing the most because they can both handle the ball, and that just puts more pressure on the defense. So
Yeah, and I'm just looking at Clay's stats here. I mean, to be honest, they don't look at a snapshot. They don't look bad.
yeah,
He played 32 games this year. He averaged 24 and 3. Whatever. I don't think he's never put up that many additional things, but
yeah,
38% from three and what's bad is 41% from field goal.
Mm-hmm.
So threes really, that's actually the first time he's been under 40% for his career, which is
Yeah.
immaculate. But
He probably take a lot more threes than he do twos.
yeah, also true. So I mean, snapshot. I mean, he's a 28 game player, but it's I don't know.
What if Poole? I mean, Poole's what 22 years old,
Also
pushing
true.
already pushing 20 something. 22 a game in the playoffs. He was averaging that at some point. So
Yeah, and it's a business, and Poole's doing it for probably
10, 12 more years.
yeah, probably. Oh no, I was gonna say probably
Oh,
10% of what Clay's doing it for.
yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah,
that's very true. Yeah, definitely.
even his new contract probably won't be half of what Clay's is.
Yeah, he'll probably get a cool little 4 year, 80 million, or
Mhm.
5 year, 100, something like that.
Yeah, Jay Poole this year. So I think it's tripping. He averaged 18, 3 and 4.
And started like half the season.
Yeah, he played in 77 games. 36% from three and 44% from four. So yeah, I mean, or field goal. So I mean,
Okay.
really,
Yeah, like I said, just to
I think
put that
he's
out
coming.
there.
I mean, that's their ilk.
Yeah,
He looks like Curry's protege. He's definitely buying in, drinking the Kool Aid, and but overall, I think it's Warriors aren't in a bad place. I mean, they got Wiseman cooking on the back burner there, so I mean, they're going to be here for a while.
yeah, and
Uh,
then other guys, uh,
Kabinga and
Moses Kabinga.
yeah, something like that. Kabanga, what the fuck his name is.
I just thought about Kendrick Perkins, and he was like Moses Moody, Moses Moody.
Name the NBA core for
Right.
But yeah, no,
I
no. So I
guess.
mean, I don't. In general, I'm still rolling with the Golden State.
Yeah.
I think they're in a great spot overall.
Yeah.
It's just great to watch. I mean, you know this because you're obviously a big LeBron fan, but it really is crazy to watch players this damn good. Like
Yeah.
it's kind of crazy.
Right.
These are the things that 30 years from now, people be like, "Oh, do you remember when that happened? Do you remember when this happened?" So it's kind of crazy to live through the moments as they're happening. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with that 100%. I mean, you said dropping 40 plus on that on that platform, on that stage, like that don't, that's not happening very often,
uh,
no matter who it is. So,
Agreed.
it's the fact that some players, was able to do that. Think about, Giannis going for 50 game clinching,
Yep.
series clinching game. But yeah, no, it's gonna be hopefully just some good basketball. We can, get lucky and get a third game and, really be able to maximize the rest of the season. But yeah, I thought we just segue here. Talk a little bit about, the NBA draft, just Pistons. About 10 days out. We've chatted about just, um, the best options. We chatted about, where they'd land as far as just with the lottery. Dug into it quite a bit. Guess overall, just what are your, how you feeling as far as just we chatted about things are shaking, looking like, Jeremy Grant might be gone either during the draft or after the draft, and some stuff we heard about, Shadon Sharper, haven't been hearing about him anymore, and who might be, be there instead, who might fall. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. So I mean, I'm gonna say first off, this as well. Pistons are in a great spot.
Yeah,
So I think the what we have to do is just maximize this. I think that fifth pick, obviously, we would have wanted to have a higher pick, but that's what we're stuck with. And I still think we can get a phenomenal player with that pick.
yeah,
I still think Ivy and Keegan Murray have to be top of that list. My personal opinion. I am personally glad that the Shaden Sharp thing has seemed to have cooled off a little bit. It didn't make a whole lot of sense to me, and I wish him all the luck.
yeah,
It would suck for him to go to a couple picks after us and for him to be what they say. But I don't know if that's a gamble that we can afford to take at this current team right now.
right.
If there's an 80% chance that he is below average and a 20% chance that he's John Morant, I don't think we should take that.
Mm-hmm.
Versus a guy who a Keegan Murray or a Jaden Ivey, who I don't anticipate them being a bust or a bad player in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah,
They're going to be solid NBA players. Their 20 point a game in the Big Ten shows that.
Yeah.
So, I think that's more so what we have to do is continue to build around the future all-star type player or all-star player that we have with Cade. As
Yeah.
far as Jeremy Grant goes, um, I'm not in a rush to get rid of him. I still think we should do the right thing. If he's on the squad heading into November, or heading into the season around November time, I don't
Hmm.
think that's the worst thing for us because it's an expiring contract and it'll be a waiting game to see. I'm not wishing injuries on people, but it's a waiting game to see who goes down or
Yep.
who needs just that one additional piece and then kind of play that game and use it to your advantage mid-season and also figure out what you need.
Yep.
I think there's going to be a lot of changes between the draft and free agency. And so maybe you give it 20, 25 games and realize kind of what we need on our own squad and use it that way. So I'm not in a rush to get rid of him. I want to make sure that we maximize him as well, as far as he's a good young piece
Yeah.
and could easily be a focal point on a playoff run team. So I just don't know if that's going to happen with us.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think I agree with all that. I mean, for me, it's just play it safe. I don't. It's not no. That's not necessary for any home run swings or trying to just go after some star. You got to just stay within. I mean, I just feel like just stay within what they're doing now. I mean, you've seen Cade, you've seen Sadiq, you've seen Stewart, you've seen Livers. You know what you have. There's no reason to be trying to just kind of throw them kids out away just for like a Brad Beal. You know what I'm saying? Just somebody that don't want to might not even want to be there to begin with. I think it's important, to keep the kids there just because they got drafted by Detroit, so they're gonna obviously want to be loyal to Detroit. They want to took a chance on them, so I just feel like it's good to be mindful of the chemistry and everything. And yeah, when it comes to the draft, I mean, safe pick. I think it's two of those Big Ten guys are there. You just can't really go against that. I'm a pretty big Matherin fan. I mean, it might be a little bit of reach, at least what they say or what they've been saying as far as just mock drafts I've seen and such. But yeah, I think this is one of the rare situations. Even how the draft unfolds most years, I mean, you usually got a lot of freshmen. It's kind of like raw, just super athletic, just kind of coming in. That top 10, but you got three guys that are kind of in that top five. That 5 to 10 range that a couple years under their belt
Yep.
shoot pretty well and just very seasoned players. So I think if they can, I think one of them guys would be the icing on the cake. I think regardless of which one it is, I think either of them, they could definitely get us where we want to be in a couple years. And I think that's in that play-in, in that bottom 8. Yeah, just looking and just trying to get to contender status.
Yeah, and I would say, I'm excited for the idea of Ivy, Cade, Bay, Bagley, Aiden. Something like that. I think we are looking, and I'm kind of decided that I do think we're going to go out and spend some money on Aiden. More Reed. I think that's something we're going to do. So I guess I'm just going to have to try to beat that into my head prematurely. But
Yeah,
I do think that is an exciting team. That's a team that can make some noise. That team better be at least in the play-in, or I
yeah,
think we made the wrong decision somewhere. um, and that's my
man,
personal opinion.
yeah.
I think
No, I hear you.
if our lineup looks something like that, obviously minus injuries, things along those lines, and we're sitting around at 7 more wins than we got this year at like 30 and 52 or something. I'm like, damn, what happened? So I think that's something that we need to, if
Yeah,
you make those moves, you need to be knocking at the door of in the playoffs. So
yeah.
and
I agree with that. Yeah. Yeah, and I think I know too. We always get a little, I mean, a little pessimistic around Aiden, but I mean, it could go the exact opposite. He could just not like the environment he was in and come out killing. And it
yeah,
could definitely work out in our favor. But yeah, like I said, we'll kind of see what happens and what unfolds. I wouldn't hate it. It would just kind of be like why didn't they sign him?
yeah.
But like,
No,
what
if they
their
sat on
impact?
it and we kept the books clean,
Yeah,
obviously we take off maybe the play in and or play
yeah,
off and move in like a play in type of team. But I wouldn't be mad at that either. Because
Mhm.
I think we're in a good spot. Then it's just kind of we're choosing to to let this talent grow versus trying to throw in something to make it work right now. Which I don't think is a bad decision either. But I'm kind of thinking that they're going to want to expedite this process a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And like we said before, maybe use Jeremy Grant as a bait with that, something along those lines where we can eat into some of that contract, and then it's kind of a player for a player, and then I guess it's not as bad. If you're going to get rid of him anyway, you might as well bring in a top 5 center in the league.
Mm-hmm.
One of our people in the comments said he'd be the number 2 center in the East. So,
yeah,
when you look at it from that point of view.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
With the rookie of the year. Oh, no. Yeah. So.
No, for real, though. Okay, yeah, all right. We'll see. I mean, I'll even just
I
hear
mean, him. I mean, he'd be up there for Embiid, Bam, and him.
Yeah. I'm just, even too, you bringing up like him for Jeremy Grant. I mean, that'd be.
Yeah, you might have to throw in another.
Right.
Killian Hayes,
Yeah.
Isaiah Livers or something. But yeah, something along that line could happen. And then it's not, then I feel a lot better about it, really.
Right. Okay. All right. But yeah, and I think as far as here, man, we'll look to just put together some stuff as far as.
Yeah, I think next podcast we're gonna come up with a little more, try to do a mock draft 2.0.
Yep.
Look at maybe, and I'm sure things will heat up a little bit as far as who's clear cut favorites. And I mean, we're looking here, and I've seen Chet fall down further than I've seen him fall over the last. I've never seen him outside of the top 2 spots,
Yep.
and he was just at 3rd. So, hopefully he's gone before we get there because we would probably take him. But and then I would end this podcast. And
right, yeah. No, I think we're in a good spot. So I'm just trying to be optimistic.
Right. I'm being optimistic too, but if Chet's there, do we take him?
I don't think we should, but they probably would.
I agree, but we would. We would send that card in so fast.
Oh my gosh, they'd be, yeah.
But no,
we were at the podium talking like, "I got this. Don't worry."
But no, I think overall, Detroit basketball, we in a great spot. And it's an exciting time, man. We're almost
up. Up and up. Yeah, absolutely.
Anything else for the peoples?
That's all we got. So we got more draft coverage coming. Looking forward to some good finals games, and draft will be here before you know it. So,
Yes, sir. Peace. We'll be back.
Till next time.